Keir Starmer said the October budget was going to be painful. Yes, I absolutely agree. It was and is painful. Since the budget announcement, we have seen the UK economy shrink for the second month in a row. And recruiters are warning that falling job vacancies could very well be the start of a recession. I'm very sorry to have to say it, but it looks like Rachel Reeves' budget was not exactly the best in terms of supporting economic growth, but also pretty highly underachieving in terms of the ambition that they were setting themselves, because I think with the way Labour have currently gone about this, they're away with the fairies. So let's try and unpack this. What is going on here? Well, since the October budget announcement, the UK economy has shrunk for the second month in a row. And if it continues to do that with each passing month, if it keeps on shrinking, then it could become more and more likely we could head into a recession, which is bad for everybody. That means more job losses, less economic growth, less money in people's pockets. Not an ideal scenario. Now, one of the main ways economic growth is measured is by looking at gross domestic product or GDP levels. Now, for anyone who's unaware, GDP levels are basically a way to measure the size and health of a country's economy over a period of time. So, high GDP would signal economic growth, low GDP would signal economic shrinking. Basically, you want to try and avoid the latter. Now, it's also widely accepted that for a developed economy like the UK, an annual growth rate of between 2 to 3% is considered normal. Anything above that rate would be a strong sign that the economy really is rocking and rolling. Anything below that rate is a strong sign that the economy is in desperate need of help and the country could very well become the sick man of the world. And the reason why this is so important is because official figures show the UK economy shrunk by 0.1% in October, following on from a 0.1% drop in GDP in September as well. 2 consecutive months of the economy shrinking, which for a government that put this budget in place to try and grow their way out of trouble really is not a good look. Now, I've also noticed people say, oh, don't judge them after 5 months, judge them after 5 years, it's too soon to judge them. Yes, I completely accept that. You know, people do need to be given time, especially in roles like this, to really figure out how things work and really put their own mark on things. I accept that. You know, it's not an easy thing for the Labour Party to turn around 14 years of Conservative rule. Yes, completely. But if you'll forgive me, I look at this from the perspective of a football fan. Let's say, for example, our country, or our team, have been on a losing run of games. We've sacked our manager, aka Rishi Sunak, and we've hired Keir Starmer. Now, of course, we weren't expecting an immediate turnaround in the results, because obviously he needs time to figure out what's wrong. Is it just a tweak that needs doing, or is it major surgery that needs doing? But we are 5 months in. We are still on a losing run of games, and we're not seeing signs of encouragement from the team, aka the cabinet. So if we're not seeing signs of encouragement, yes, we're fully prepared to give him time, but we need something to believe in as well as the public. You know, we've given our backing to Keir Starmer. We voted him and his party in. If we're not getting signs of encouragement, we are perfectly entitled to make our voices and our feelings heard. They're not giving us anything to believe in. They are not giving us signs of improvement to say, you know what? Yes, it's going to take a bit of time, but we are on the right path. Because at the moment, what we're seeing is the economy shrinking, and people's voting intentions are moving away from Labour to other parties. So at the moment, things really are not looking good. Now, Rachel Reeves did provide a reaction to this, and again, I'm not going to be too harsh, but I do think what she's saying is a little bit disingenuous, so let's go ahead and take a listen.
The numbers on GDP are disappointing, but it's not possible to turn around more than a decade of poor economic growth and stagnant living standards in just a few months. But you'll see from the plans we've been announcing, whether that is the energy reforms we've published today, the reforms to build 1.5 million homes that we published yesterday, the pensions reforms, the creation of a national wealth fund, this government are getting on with the job in improving economic growth and driving up living standards.
Well, I hear it, but here we are with the second month of decline, and it's being reported that people are still being cautious in reaction to this budget 2 months on. Most notably from the manufacturing sector, which saw the sharpest drop in activity in October, whereas the services sector, which makes up the bulk of the UK economy because we export most of those to the world, that stalled with zero growth. So clearly people and businesses are still cautious in reaction to this budget because there's a lot more uncertainty floating around thinking, well, where are we going to go? Are we going to go towards economic growth, or are we on a one-way ticket to recession? In short, I think this budget does need a major rethink. If we're going to look at this purely from an economic growth perspective, what is the point of setting up a business in the UK if the environment is just unfriendly to business. If you're going to slap employers with a higher national insurance contribution tax, meaning they have to pay more to the government, they have less money for themselves to maybe hire more workers, well, that's not really very friendly to business, is it? Because then where's the incentive? It means less people in the UK being hired, meaning unemployment is likely to stay high as well. Where's the incentive? Where's the economic growth there? I'm sure Keir Starmer and Labour went into this thinking that we're on the right path. But we're not. We're not being given the signs of improvement to suggest that we are on the right path. There's no shame in changing things until we get on the right path. Don't be embarrassed to change things up if you realise it's not working. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Drop a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this. Is the UK on the right path? Or does the budget and the direction need a major rethink? As usual, I'll be returning soon, but until then, hope you all have a great day and see you all later. Take care.